Tonight, we begin with a story that has put the entire nation on edge. It started in the remote, icy landscapes of Alaska, a place many see as America's last frontier, but this frontier has now become a front line. Early this morning, Ted Stevens Anchorage International Airport, one of the world's busiest cargo hubs, was abruptly shut down. All flights were grounded. Operations ceased. The reason? A significant and credible security threat, details still emerging. This isn't just a local disruption, it's a global shockwave, raising urgent questions about American airspace security. Anchorage is a linchpin in global logistics, connecting Asia and North America. Its closure means delays for everything from electronics to medical supplies. The United States is on heightened alert. Federal agencies are working around the clock to secure other potential targets. The question, is this an isolated incident or the prelude to something larger? Throughout this report, we'll break down what we know, what it means, and what could happen next.
To grasp today's gravity, you need to understand Alaska's unique position. It's not just another state, it's a strategic asset. Alaska provides the U.S. with a critical vantage point over the Arctic, Asia, and Russia. The old saying goes, from Alaska, you can see Russia. That proximity has shaped its military identity since the Cold War. The state is home to advanced radar systems and military bases, America's first line of defense against aerial threats. With Arctic ice melting, new shipping lanes and geopolitical competition are emerging. Russia and China are expanding their presence. The U.S. has responded by bolstering its own. Anchorage International is a top 5 global cargo airport, perfectly placed for trans-Pacific flights. A disruption here can bring a significant portion of international air freight to a standstill. Past incidents have tested Alaska's defenses, but today's shutdown of a civilian airport due to a direct security threat marks a new and alarming escalation. The focus has shifted from external military posturing to internal vulnerability. Alaska's role as both a military and logistics hub makes any threat here a national crisis.
The shutdown began in the pre-dawn hours, when Anchorage International is usually buzzing with cargo jets. At 4:15 a.m., the FAA issued a sudden ground stop for all flights, citing unspecified security concerns. Dozens of aircraft were halted or diverted to alternate airports. By 5:30 a.m., a multi-agency response was underway. Heavily armed teams established a wide perimeter, blocking all access. At 6:00 a.m., the airport announced a full shutdown, offering no details. By 8:00 a.m., military vehicles arrived, and F-22 jets patrolled the skies, an extraordinary response for a civilian airport. The FAA expanded flight restrictions, creating a 30-mile no-fly zone. At 11:00 a.m., officials confirmed a credible, specific threat, but refused to elaborate. The airport remains closed, with over 200 cargo flights and dozens of passenger flights cancelled or diverted. Billions in goods are stranded, and thousands of people remain in limbo. The morning was a blur of confusion and fear for those at the airport. Police with rifles ordered everyone to leave, herding passengers outside into the cold, unsure of what was happening. Official statements have been sparse, highlighting the investigation's sensitivity. The message is clear: remain calm, vigilant, and patient. The airport's closure has left thousands stranded and the city on edge.
The shutdown has triggered a cascade of economic and logistical consequences far beyond Alaska. Anchorage International facilitates over $200 billion in trade annually. That flow is now severed. Companies relying on just-in-time delivery are already feeling the pain. Delays cost millions per hour and will impact consumers. Cargo carriers are forced to find longer, more expensive routes, adding hours and costs to global shipping. For passengers, it's a travel nightmare. Thousands are stranded, hotels are full, and rural communities are cut off from essential supplies. The airport is one of Alaska's largest employers. Its closure leaves many uncertain about their jobs. The heavy law enforcement and military presence has put Anchorage on edge. Schools have closed early, businesses have shuttered, and the city is glued to the news. The incident has shattered the sense of remote security Alaskans once felt. Anchorage is now the center of a national security crisis.
Today's events are more than a transportation issue. They're a national security crisis. The deliberate targeting of Anchorage International is a classic hallmark of asymmetric warfare, aiming to disrupt and instill fear. The Pentagon and Homeland Security have initiated contingency protocols nationwide. NORAD has increased air patrols, and security is heightened at major infrastructure sites. Intelligence agencies are racing to determine if the threat is foreign or domestic. The sophistication suggests a well-organized group. If a foreign state is responsible, it could escalate into a diplomatic crisis. If domestic, it raises troubling questions about extremist capabilities. This incident exposes the vulnerabilities of our interconnected infrastructure, physical and digital. The response in Anchorage highlights the multifaceted nature of modern threats. A nationwide reassessment of security at critical sites is now inevitable. To help us make sense of this, we're joined by Juliette Kayyem, former Assistant Secretary at Homeland Security. Juliette, what stands out to you about this incident? Kayyem, the specificity and credibility of the threat. You don't shut down an airport like this for a vague rumor. Officials believe the threat is real and actionable. Why target Anchorage? Kayyem, it's a high-impact, low-population target. Maximum disruption to global supply chains and military logistics, with less risk of mass casualties. The multi-agency response, including military involvement, suggests all possibilities are being considered. Kayyem, the FBI and DHS are handling the investigation, but military involvement means they're not ruling out an external or airborne threat. What's next? Kayyem, the next 48 hours are critical. Investigators will race to identify and neutralize the threat. Official updates will be limited to protect the investigation. The airport's status is the key public metric. If it stays closed, the threat remains active. The decision to reopen will signal that officials believe the immediate danger has passed. The investigation will continue for weeks, if not months. The world is watching. The shutdown has sent shockwaves through Washington, becoming a major political and policy crisis. The president has been in constant briefings, directing all federal resources to secure the airport and investigate. In a brief statement, the president vowed accountability for whoever is responsible. Congress has reacted swiftly, with bipartisan unity in demanding answers and supporting the response. Homeland Security committees are launching immediate inquiries. Was there an intelligence failure? Are our protocols adequate? The State Department is coordinating with allies and sending clear messages to adversaries. The world is watching how the U.S. handles this crisis. The political fallout will be long-lasting, sparking debates about infrastructure security and intelligence. The administration's response will be scrutinized for months to come. For now, Washington is united, but the real political battles are just beginning.
Tonight, Ted Stevens Anchorage International Airport remains dark and silent. A vital artery of global commerce and a strategic pillar of American defense has been severed. What began as a security alert has escalated into a full-blown national crisis, exposing vulnerabilities we never considered. The economic and logistical ripple effects are already being felt worldwide. The national security implications have put the country on high alert as investigators race to understand the threat. Expert analysis suggests this was a sophisticated, deliberate act, targeting a crucial but overlooked node in our nation's network. The response from Washington has been swift, but the debates to follow will be intense and long-lasting. This incident will force a reassessment of how we protect our lifelines in an age of evolving threats. Officials urge vigilance, remain calm, be aware, and report suspicious activity. The story is far from over. The answers will shape our nation's security for years to come. For now, a nation holds its breath, watching and waiting for news from its last frontier.